Well, it's the beginning of another week. Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Yusuf at Desawe Kanda. Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSV channel 279, all across the world on 3 News. I'm Fred Okansi. Tonight, Supreme Court set Tuesday, November 12th, that's tomorrow, to decide and deliver judgment on the constitutional landmark case of vacant seats in Parliament after hearing arguments from the plaintiff's lawyer and the Attorney General. We have highlights of today's hearing and what to expect going into tomorrow. Also here on your Election Command Center, new developments in the camp of the National Democratic Congress in their Memphis Central constituency as High Court vacates the injunction on the NDC parliamentary candidate. What does this mean for her quest to contest the December 7 polls? That's the fundamental question that we're asking tonight. Stay with us here on your Election Command Center. Also, Ghana's judiciary is on the front burner following the Mo Ibrahim's Foundation survey, which shows judicial impartiality has dropped significantly. What do Ghanaians think about the judiciary? We would love to hear from you and hear your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions as well as captured in these surveys and the matters arising. What has to be done next? What should be the posture of the judiciary towards these surveys that have come through? In fact, not just the Mo Ibrahim survey, we've seen as well Afrobarometer survey, and then also the that's Global Info Analytics as well, capturing the sentiments of the Ghanaian people about the judiciary. We'll talk about that as always. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is GhanaTonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana, please.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfrey Adame has described as unconstitutional the decision by the Speaker of the 7th Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, to declare the Former seat vacant. The Attorney General's statement was part of arguments he made regarding the interpretation of the Constitution, which was relied on by Alban Bakwen to declare 4 seats vacant.
Especially this situation that we find ourselves in before the court had again occurred in Parliament, in the 7th Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, just like the current Speaker, ruled that there had been a vacation of seats. My respectful submission on that point is that such ruling was erroneous. The ruling that affected the status of Honorable Isiama Maredi, I love because the gentleman has suffered a lot.
The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC's John Mahama, has waded in the region legal tussle over the declaration of some 4 seats by the Speaker of Parliament vacant. The impasse in Parliament has halted government business as both sides are holding entrenched positions on what they believe is a tilt of the numbers or wrongful declaration by the Speaker.
We can solve it politically. The solution is not legal. If you say Supreme Court beats me on my decision, now Parliament was like I say, you so you're a separate arm of government. And the way and keeping here say you political solution. Na nina jina opinion for any opinion some.
The Secondary High Court has cleared National Democratic Congress NDC's candidate for Memphis Central, Joanna Jankujo, to contest in the December 7 parliamentary election after setting aside an injunction. Joanna Jankujo had earlier been barred from holding herself as a parliamentary candidate by the court.
I thank God and all the NDC members in Memphis Central, branch executives, constituency executives, are coming home and we are going to do our campaign launch, and after the campaign launch, then so I know that the people are waiting for me and they are happy. So I want to tell them that they should just go and find something to eat and drink and be happy and count.
Over 15,000 patients with kidney diseases will have their burdens alleviated in the next month. That's the promise of the New Patriotic Party presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He said treatment for dialysis will be free for everybody in the country under the National Health Insurance Scheme from December 1.
Kidney problems. Dialysis.
There are so many people suffering from kidney problems, so 6 months ago, we started the piloting of the free dialysis. We are ending the piloting, and so from December 1, all kidney dialysis patients will be treated freely under the NHIS.
Patients, and the National Health Insurance free.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, some news coming through right now, which has been developing over the last 30 minutes. There's some breaking news coming through right now here on Ghana Tonight, which we're keeping an eye on. There's a fire outbreak somewhere on the Spintex Road, which we received some videos of from some of you, our viewers, as well as the Ghana National Fire Service. So we're going to get some quick updates on that rather unfortunate incident and that situation on the Spintex Road. We'll tell you shortly here on Ghana Tonight, and that's what you're seeing on the screens right now. This is a warehouse, we understand, on somewhere on the Spintex Road, which, as we speak, has been raised down by an inferno. And this fire incident happened not too long ago, in just about some 20 minutes ago. We got this distress call as well, and this information from some of you, our viewers, giving us this information right now, and we're getting through to the Ghana National Fire Service shortly to get some more information on this, but this is the information that's just come through. There is a warehouse on the Spintex Road that's been raised down by fire as we speak, and we'll keep an eye on this one and also be giving you some more information right now. That's information that we're getting from the Ghana National Fire Service. This is what you're seeing right now is the fire service personnel attending to this fire in a warehouse located on the Spintex Road. So that's the information that we have right now with respect to what is happening at the moment as a result of this fire outbreak. And we keep an eye on this one and be giving you some more updates here on Ghana Tonight. And as always, stay with us as we get through to the Ghana National Fire Service to get us some more information on this fire outbreak that we got information of just some 20 minutes ago. Understand this fire was detected. The Ghana National Fire Service responded to the fire outbreak swiftly, and that is what we're getting right now to give you some more information on this here on Ghana Tonight. Alex Kenate is with the public relations of the Ghana National Fire Service, is joining us right now on the telephone. Zenate, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First off, this was the latest to this fire outbreak we're seeing on this Spintex Road, this warehouse.
Okay, thank you very much, and good evening to you, and thank you for having me. So as it stands now, we are still at the fire scene. It's a chain of warehouses. I count about 10 warehouses together, closely situated together. As it stands now, our men, we have 5 fire tenders from Spintex Road, from Trade Fair, from University of Ghana, from Abilinki, and then also from our national headquarters, all at the scene, trying our best to keep the situation under control. As it stands now, I can confidently say that our officers have done well to contain the fire from spreading to the adjoining warehouses and confining the fire to just the affected warehouse as of now.
See, and so if I get the understanding, you have about 4 or 5 fire tenders at this fire scene attending to the fire as we speak?
Yes, there are 5 fire tenders attending to the fire as we speak right now. And our ultimate priority is to contain the fire from spreading to the adjoining warehouses close by.
Well, and when did you get this distress call, and was there any indication what could have caused this outbreak, as we're seeing now?
Well, we received a call a few minutes to 9, and fortunately for us, our team at Katapeku, they covered the Spintex area, quickly got to the scene within a few minutes, and upon arrival, seeing how serious the fire was, had to call for further reinforcement. And so we've been here for close to an hour, and we are doing our best to make sure that the fire doesn't spread. Confidently, I can tell you that we are making progress. The unfortunate thing for us was that there are some visible cracks in the building, and so we had to tread cautiously, before we get our officers to go in. But right now, we've done our assessment and committed officers to go in to make sure that, and so as I speak to you right now, the flame that we were seeing has subsided and progress is being made. I'm hoping that within the next few hours, we should be able to finally extinguish the fire.
Mr. Kenate, thank you very much. Alex Kenate is with the Public Affairs Department of Ghana National Fire Service, attending to this fire outbreak at a warehouse on the Spintex Road. We have eyes on that. We'll be updating you as we go on here on Ghana Tonight. But coming up next here on Ghana Tonight on your Election Command Center, the Supreme Court sets tomorrow, Tuesday, November 12th, to deliver judgment on the constitutional landmark case of the vacant seat in Parliament after hearing arguments from the plaintiff's lawyer and the Attorney General. We will have some highlights of today's hearing and what to expect tomorrow. And the fundamental question is, what questions are tomorrow's ruling expected to answer? That's fundamental. Going to be joined by a private legal practitioner as well. My colleague Dennis Paberi-Wadam Esquire is going to be joining me in a bit. We'll have a conversation on this. But today it was quite clear, even though the courts had set today for the parties to, as it were, file a statement of case with respect to this particular ruling. The courts are going to deliver tomorrow. What was clear and conspicuously missing was the Speaker's lawyers. They were not in court today. The courts took notice of the absence of Thaddeus Osori, the Speaker's lawyer, and then also the Speaker himself. This is the Chief Justice earlier today. Take a look.
There's nobody here for the Speaker of Parliament, first defendant. All right, by court's no representation for Speaker of Parliament, we note also that the Speaker of Parliament has not filed any statement of case or memorandum of issues, despite the opportunity given for them to be filed. This matter is for hearing this morning. Can we hear counsel for the plaintiff?
Well, so that's the Chief Justice there. And Dennis Paberi-Wadam has been monitoring the events earlier in court today. And Dennis, with the absence of the Speaker's lawyers at today's hearing, is there any effect or any consequential impact on the Speaker's position on this matter, the fact that his lawyers were not in court today?
Well, really, Alfred, this is a matter of choice. And when you look at the rules that govern the Supreme Court itself as to this particular matter, the rules are clear as to what happens if a defendant in a case does not file a statement of case. But let's track a bit and go back to last week when the Speaker himself was in Parliament. He had filed an application to set aside or to vacate the Supreme Court's own ruling. After all was said and done, they had to put the House in order so that they can have the substantive case heard, which was today. The court was of the view that it had given them, the parties, the opportunity to file their statement of case, and then they had set today for judgment. That was the initial plan of the court. However, the Attorney General was of the view that he wanted to make oral arguments today. So the court then said, okay, if that is the case, they should come today, have the oral arguments if they wanted to, and thereafter, the House would retire and then give a judgment. So that was how come many were looking forward to the judgment today.
Right.
However, it turned out that the Speaker of Parliament did not file a statement of case and they were not in court. So when you look at the rules, and refer to Rule 48 of the Supreme Court Rules, CI 16, that particular provision says that it's on appearance and statement of defense, that a defendant upon whom a writ and statement of the plaintiff's case are served, shall, if he so wishes to contest the case, within 14 days of the service of the statement of the plaintiff's case, or within such time as the court, upon terms may direct, file a statement of the defendant's case, which shall be signed by the defendant or his counsel. Now, what is of emphasis here is the fact that if he so wishes to contest the case, so is the contemplation of the law itself that there are instances where the defendants
will decide
elect not to
contest the case.
And in such an instance, you do not expect a defendant who does not file a statement of case to be in court. So, I mean, the speaker not being in court clearly is an indication that they do not intend to contest this particular matter. And of course, the rules allow the court to proceed without them. And that was basically what we saw play out in court today.
I see. So fundamentally, there is no injury to the speaker's position or the speaker's case in this matter, even though his lawyers were not in court.
Well, so even if there's an injury, that is what he has elected to do. The only thing is we do not know on record why the speaker was not in court.
Well, Martin Kpebu is going to be joining us on Zoom in a bit.
Yes, but that wasn't told to the court as to why they were not in court. I mean, it was clear that that's how come you would hear from one of the justices on the bench say to the Attorney General that he would expect the Attorney General to place a call to the lawyer of the plaintiff, to the lawyer of the Speaker of Parliament to find out why he's not in court, rather than going to the conclusion that it is disrespectful to the court. So really, the point just needs to be made that there are instances where you would have a defendant who elects not to file a statement of case in a particular matter. And mind you, even in the LGBT case, the Attorney General himself was in court. I mean, he was given an extension of time to file a statement of case. It means that there are instances where even when the time for you to file a statement of the case elapses, either by an application or the court by itself can give you an extension, or the party can pray for that extension to file a statement of case. So really, I mean, that's how come the court was able to proceed even without the Speaker of Parliament.
I see. Now, let's hear from the Attorney General on this matter, because he held in court earlier today that the absence of, and then it's important that you put emphasis on the fact that it is indeed within the right of a party in a case in court to, as it were, contest their position or their case in the court of law. The Attorney General was of the view that the absence of the Speaker's lawyers amounted to disrespect of the courts. Now, this is Godfrey Abuadame, Attorney General, earlier today in court. Take a look.
Of course, being entirely the prerogative of the first defendant to file anything at all. Respectfully, I think that if the first defendant came before the court at the last agenda date, represented by counsel made representations before the court to file submissions at a certain point in time, elects not to do so, and then for no reason at all, elects also to appear before the court. Clearly, that is disrespect to the court. I made this observation because I'm the Attorney General, leader of the bar, and all that. Such conduct, with all respect, should not be tolerated by the court.
Leave it to us, Mr. Attorney General. Leave it to us. I would rather advise that as a member of the bar for which you are the leader, you should reach out to him at the close of these proceedings to find out if everything is all right.
Well, so that's the justices there. In fact, that was Justice Amadou Tanko, indicating that the Attorney General should leave that matter to them as to whether it amounted to disrespect or not, right? But let's bring in Martin Kpebu, this private legal practitioner, one of the foremost human rights lawyers we have in this country. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Kansi.
Great. Now, and I start off from that point that Dennis just ended about the Attorney General's position that the absence of the lawyers of the Speaker in court today amounted to the disrespect of the courts. Well, Justice Amadou Tanko, sought to draw his attention to the fact that it is for them to determine whether it was disrespect or not. But how does that strike you?
Well, what Justice Amadou Tanko said was the right thing. That was the right thing. You know, I don't know if you played back. There was another part where he asked the Attorney General if he had reached out to Tadosori, lawyer for the Speaker, right? Once Tadosori wasn't present, the fact that he wasn't present cannot lead to a conclusion that his absence there was willful, etc. So the best thing to do is to find out. So it's good that Justice Amadou Tanko drew Godfrey Dami's attention to that option, that if you don't see your learned friend, you should be able to reach out. I know Tadosori has a huge reputation at the bar. He's one of our best. So generally, you don't find adverse comments about him like that. So it's good that Justice Tanko drew his attention that you have to ask about his welfare, ask about his whereabouts. Don't just stand there and start making comments. As for Godfrey Dami, you know, he's not learning. You see, he's not learning that this is side comments are becoming one too many. You see, at the last sitting of the court, all the submissions he made, the Supreme Court just ignored them. Yeah, so he has to learn that, listen, there are times that you have to be gracious. If the man hasn't come, don't go on and on and on about him. No, it's not the best. You see, the last time, on the 30th of October, all the arguments he made, you see, the court didn't dignify him with a response. So Godfrey Dami needs to learn that it's not everything you need to comment about. No, it's not everything you have to comment.
Today, there was one point that he made that, in fact, that emphatic statement that, in his view, Speaker Michael Quay's ruling on the Fomena case was illegal. It was unconstitutional, and so cannot form a basis for any decision forthwith.
Oh, obviously, it's in his favor, or it's convenient for him to make that comment today. You know, because if you were to say Okwe got it right, what it would mean is that then this case would follow the same pattern. That is to say, they would lose this case of the vacation of the 4 seats by the various MPs. So it's convenient for the MPP and for Godfrey Dami to say that Okwe got it wrong, so that Okwe's ruling does not come back to, you know, pound or bite them. That's just it. That's just it, really.
I see. But on the bit about how that also gives pointers of really how the case is going, the path the case is going to take going forward. I want us to take a listen to, and if you indulge me, we're also live on 3FM 92.7. Let's take a listen to the Attorney General making the argument that to the extent that Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs elected to represent constituents through an election, it is only the election and the election process that can alter the constitution of Parliament, right? And I'll find out if that's consistent with your understanding of what the law really says. But this is the Attorney General on the constitution of Parliament. Take a look.
Insofar as Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs or members of Parliament representing those constituencies, the composition of Parliament shall not be altered except as prescribed for in the Constitution. So no person or authority, with all respect, has the power to make any decision at all or construe the Constitution in a way which will alter or change the composition of Parliament except as stated in the Constitution.
So, Counsel, that's the Attorney General there, that to the extent that Parliament is constituted by a certain number of MPs elected to represent constituents, the composition of Parliament shall not be altered except as prescribed by the Constitution.
You see, this is tautologous, right?
This is what?
Or let's say security. We are going around in circles, actually, instead of the tautology. It's going around in circles. The security is that the Constitution has prescribed in Article 91 97 clause 1, how a member of parliament will lose his seat. And it's very clear in June that if you are an independent, H, let's start with H, a CMS case. If you're an independent member of parliament and you join a political party, ipso facto, you lose your seat. So, Mr. Okansi, as we are talking, isn't it an indisputable fact that Isiama has joined the MPP?
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
It is. It is a fact.
Yeah. So that's it. Straight. Pro tanto. Ipso facto. Just by that very fact alone. Isiama will lose his seat in this parliament. It's not by any future parliament. The Article 97 is not talking about future parliament. Then you go to the other parliamentarians. 91, why do I say 91? 97 plus 1 G. Okay? It says if you're a member of a political party and then you seek to become independent and remain in parliament. As we speak now, the MPP constitution is very clear that if they fill the candidate for parliamentary elections and you, an MPP member, also seek to contest that election, you automatically, and I'm emphasizing automatically, lose your membership. That's Article 3 clause 9. Yeah, 3 clause 9. I'm sure, Mr. Okansi, you've read it in the past.
Yes, indeed.
So, Mamle, Kwejo Asante, MP for Sum, Peter Kwachiaka, that's MP, Memphis Central, he's NDC. And then the third one.
That is, that's the former member of parliament who is now contesting on the ticket of the MPP.
Yes, we've dealt with this already. So these three, Kwejo Asante, Mamle, and then Peter Kwachiaka, they were members of political parties, and now they filed as independents. So we are clear that the MPP constitution says if you file as an independent to contest an MPP member, you automatically forfeit your seat. So that's it.
Right.
So I'm expecting the Supreme Court to come up with an interpretation that will give meaning to the MPP constitution. They sponsor the candidate. They sponsor the MP, and they say if you do such a thing, you automatically forfeit your seat. It makes sense because, you see, political parties, all right, deal with sensitive information, etc.
Okay.
So they cannot afford to continue to have moles, open moles. Of course, some people are secret moles. But when you have an open mole in your campaign, very brazen, openly like this, no, it cannot be tolerated.
Right.
So if you want to see how the rule will work, can you imagine forcing a leader of the NDC? Of course, I'm tempted to say the majority in parliament, but because of the Supreme Court ruling, I will reserve comment on that. But can you imagine forcing saying that he's now going to run on the ticket of the NPP and still wants to be leader and a parliamentarian? Or turn it the other way, Afenyo Markin, saying that he's running on the ticket of NDC and MPP will continue to tolerate him. No. Even you come to outside these examples, in contract, there's an area called laws in restraint of trade. There are some jobs that have some sensitive information. If you leave the job today, you cannot go and work for a competitor immediately. No. We have what we call garden leave. Some of them, your contract will say sit at home for 6 months, others 1 year. And you think the member of parliament, the information that parliamentarians share amongst themselves, policies, etc., I think there are certain information that are not sensitive. So it's not new that if you leave your party and go to join another party, you should lose your seat. No, it's not new. So I'm hoping that the Supreme Court will be following.
We'll see how that plays out tomorrow when the Supreme Court delivers its ruling on this matter. But I do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us, Martin Pebbles, private legal practitioner, one of the foremost human rights lawyers we have in this country. And Dennis, so and following on the back of what Martin Pebbles just said, what questions are the ruling of the Supreme Court going to answer tomorrow or expected to answer tomorrow?
Well, so when the ruling is, the judgment is out tomorrow, some 3 key questions to be answered. One will be the fate of the 4 MPs will be determined. They will not just be determined, they'll be determined finally. And then any subsequent occurrence in Parliament, we get to know where an MP would stand. We heard, for instance, Cynthia Morrison mentioned a few days ago that she was still the Member of Parliament for Agona West on the ticket of the MPP. If that judgment comes tomorrow, we'll determine whether she continues to be the Member of Parliament or her seat will officially be vacant. There will also be the question of whether or not MPs on the ticket of a party who file nominations with the EC to contest the next election as independent candidates vacate their seats. And that would be in respect of some of the
constituencies.
3 MPs in this equation.
Right.
Now, there's also the question of whether or not an independent MP, or independent MPs who file nominations with the EC to contest the next election on the ticket of political parties vacate their seats. And this will be in respect of 1 MP who we know an independent candidate filing to contest on the ticket of the MPP.
That's Andres,
So by the end of the day tomorrow, all these questions will be answered. Most importantly, the fate of these 4 MPs will be determined, and we'll know the numerical strength of Parliament as it will be composed.
And then that question finally
will be determined who is now the majority leader. Who is the majority, who is the minority, and who are the leaders in that particular equation. So tomorrow promises to be an exciting day tomorrow.
Indeed, and that's going to be live here on TV3 and also on 3FM 92.7. So stay with us and make a date. But let's still stay a bit further here on your Election Command Center on matters related to this issue, but then again into the constituency of one of them. There's some new developments in the camp of the National Democratic Congress in their Memphis Central constituency. That's one of 4 constituencies in the eye of the storm and what's happening in Parliament and the courts. As the high courts have now, as it would set aside or vacated an injunction on the NDC parliamentary candidate. What does this mean for Joanna Jan Kojo, for the NDC, and for her quest to contest the December polls? And there are questions that need to be answered, and that's what we are going to talk about tonight. Even after the court's decision today to vacate that injunction that sought to have Joanna Jan Kojo not contest this election on December 7 on the ticket of the NDC in their Memphis Central constituency. This is your Election Command Center. Earlier today, the Secondary High Court vacated an injunction on the NDC candidate for Memphis Central, Joanna Jan Kojo. The injunction had previously barred Joanna Jan Kojo from contesting in the upcoming parliamentary election. Lawyer for Madam Kojo and Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC, Judicial, explains this ruling now clears the way for her to contest in the December 7 parliamentary election. Take a look.
Our resolve and our prayer is that the Electoral Commission will act timeously in getting Madam Joanna Kojo Jan restored onto the voters, the notice of poll and the ballot paper immediately. Remember that we have only 26 days to the election. We are committed, and I urge the rank and file of our party and our Memphis Central to get ready. We are all going to come down to get to the various communities to work than never before. This is a seat that from 1992 we have never lost.
Right.
I have no doubt at all in my mind that with the support of the Almighty God and the support of the constituency executives, the rank and file of our party, the regional executive with our national executive, we will maintain that seat. There was a rep of the Electoral Commission in court today. When the case was called, a gentleman stood up and indicated that he's the one representing the Electoral Commission. In any case, we have taken formal steps to procure copies of the order, which we are hopeful by close of day tomorrow. Even tomorrow afternoon, we should get the order. In fact, after court, I stayed to ensure that the order was properly typed and everything.
Right.
We expect that my Lord will go through, and once everything is correct, we would have it procured and immediately serve the Electoral Commission. We do not have the benefit of time.
So, Madam Joanna Jankojo was full of praise after the court's decision today, and really hoping that the needful will be done for her to now have the clear path to contest the December 7 elections as a parliamentary candidate of the NDC in their Memphis Central constituency, some 25 days away from today. This is what she said earlier in court. And we'll recall that and specifically indicating that, well, the constituents and the party executives can now go and rejoice and prepare.
I thank God and all the NDC members in Memphis Central branch executives, constituency executives, and coming home, and we are going to do our campaign lunch. And after the campaign lunch, then so I know that the people are waiting for me and they are happy. So I want to tell them that they should just go and find something to eat and drink and be happy and thank God.
Well, that's Madam Joanna Jankojo there, and now a number of things have to happen, and that's what we're hoping to get through to Musa Bande, who's the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC shortly. He's going to be joining us on Zoom in a bit to have a conversation on this matter. But look, even though the courts have taken a decision today, the Electoral Commission went ahead while this matter was in court after they communicated that they had now, as it were, taking out Madam Joanna Jankojo from its plans going into election December 7. They went ahead to publish the notice of polls. What that means is that the EC did not capture Madam Joanna Jankojo in the notice of polls that was published in the constituency. So as far as we speak now, these are the persons who are contesting their Memphis Central constituency within the records of the Electoral Commission. And that's what's on the screen right now. Albert Redu Akon of the MPP, Peter Yao Kwachiaka, this independent candidate who is the incumbent member of parliament on the ticket of the NDC who decided to go independent, and then one Karl Mark Ahen. Karl Mark Ahen is an independent candidate as well. So there are two independent candidates who have been captured on the notice of poll by the Electoral Commission in the Memphis Central constituency, plus the MPP candidate in there. So as far as the Electoral Commission's records are concerned, Madam Jankojo is not there. So what is the consequential effect of this order by the courts? That mean that the Electoral Commission now would have to go back and now publish a new notice of poll with Madam Joanna Jankojo captured in there. And bear in mind as well that the Electoral Commission had already indicated that they had almost finished printing the ballot papers for both parliamentary and presidential elections prior to the death of Madam Ekiadonko. So if that's the case, then they were proceeding even though this matter was still in court. So it stands to reason, all things being equal, based on what the Electoral Commission had already said, that they had printed ballot papers for their Memphis Central constituency without Madam Joanna Jankojo, because this is the notice of poll. Essentially, this was what was going to reflect on the ballot paper for the parliamentary election in the Memphis Central constituency. These three, right? And these two independent candidates and the MPP candidate. That's what's published in the constituency. If you go around the constituency, this is what has been pasted on walls, on other billboards, and you know, all these other places the Electoral Commission will put the notice of poll. Okay, so what we're going to be looking out for in the coming days is whether the Electoral Commission would now amend this and have Madam Joanna Jankojo in there So we're going into the election as well. And that's what the NDC, in fact, is expecting. That's what head Digital Maclo say, that regardless that the Electoral Commission has published this notice of poll, they would have to do the needful and add Jonathan Kojo. We'll see how the coming days will look like, but this is Ghana Tonight. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us, there's more coming up.
Omian once said,
"We are building a new harbor in Cape Coast and a new airport in Cape Coast."
In 2020, we will promise an airport and a harbor. Fast forward to today, absolutely nothing. Show working. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
You know, one bucket of flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply
luckiest star 712 hash. Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing from your Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. We'll build radio. We are star 712. It's a phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for adults.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. That's it. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
Dema, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Dr. Baomian once said in a church,
Since 2014 in India, they have a policy to only build concrete roads because it works out much cheaper. So I said, well, let me bring this to my bosses, and we have been discussing this as recently as last week in Parliament. And Bishop Dag, I'll let you into it. Cabinet did decide last week that we should move towards concrete roads as a country.
Where are the concrete roads? It was all lies. You trust this man at your own peril. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro a me fire no ene ma won kra me enu kofro kwa na me coin mu a eba
head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no
me just say my name koye and pass on my nyina and imagine sabema na me be fear for there e ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint homeopathic clinic.
A vote for the MPP candidate in this 2024 election is a vote for a third term for Nana Akufo-Addo. Why they are desperate to break the 8 is to do a cover-up of the 8 years of atrocities that they have inflicted on Ghanaians.
Stand this way. Go this way. Come this way.
Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
One of the most important and popular forms of communication is through a television set. And not just any television set, but Franco television set. We have smart and LED TVs ranging from the smallest of 32 inches to the biggest of 86 inches. Franco television is easy to operate. It gives you the best picture and it has distinctive features like Maracas, USB, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 4K resolution pictures. Rush now to any of our branches nationwide or on our website at www.francotrading.com. You can call the numbers on the screen for any assistance. Franco Trading Enterprise is still the home of quality television sets.
I'm a Ghanaian and I love luxury accredited faith. And I love democracy.
December 7th, Ghana is voting.
Only peace. Peace, I give it to you all.
I love Ghana. Peaceful election before, during, and after.
One Ghana. Peace. Peace to everybody.
One Ghana. Ghana.
This message brought to you from the luxury accredited faith.
Champion!
This October to December, King's Furniture says, thank you, Ghana. Enjoy a whopping 25% off on all our domestic kitchen, wardrobes, and sofas. Upgrade your home with the finest furniture, crafted right here in Ghana. And for your office, we're offering 20% discount on all office furniture because your workspace deserves the best. Whether it's for home or office, now's the time to make your space truly yours and give the gift of comfort and style to your loved ones. Hooray! Promo is from October 1st and ends December 31st, 2024. Visit King's Furniture Showroom today and enjoy these incredible discounts. Locate us in Accra, Kisima, adjacent Melco and Takrade, Tanokrum, Pipeline, right opposite Connect FM, or call us on 050-150-5507 Accra and 050-133-2327. King's Furniture sets a standard. And a big thank you to Ghana.
Oh, Mansa, what is happening?
Sit down. Mansa, why is your shop so empty? You have reminded me of my sorrow. You were with me when I went to the bank for a loan to establish this place. The bank is chasing me for their money now. The interest alone is 40% every year. I can't restock because of the exchange rate. Today the dollar is 15, tomorrow 16. And it's even getting to 17. Why? The price of an item, 1 cedi today, 10 cedis tomorrow. The numerous taxes, high electricity and water bills are killing me. I can't plan. I can't save. I can't even repay my loan. All my capital is gone. Oh! Who will save me out of my misery? It's okay. I'm suffering. Where is help?
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Oh, it's live here on Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. We're also live on 3FM 92.7 for those of you who are listening to us and driving right now. We've got you covered there. But coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, Ghana's judiciary is on the front burner following the Ibrahim impartiality index on the African governance. We'll get in there shortly here on Ghana Tonight. What do Ghanaians think about the judiciary? Would love to hear from you. And this was by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, and this specifically the Ibrahim Index on African Governance. And this recent report by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation has revealed a significant decline of about 30% in the perceived impartiality of Ghana's judiciary between 2017 and 2023. Now, the report's indicator measures judicial impartiality based on factors such as the independence of the courts, the autonomy of the judges, and judicial appointment. Now, in 2014, Ghanaians' confidence in the judiciary's impartiality was rated 95.3 percentage points. And however, the study finds that this has dropped to 68.3. That's as of 2023, about 27 points decline over the period. And I'm going to show you the trend graph in a bit, but we hit the streets to engage members of the general public on this as well, because this forms and captures the sentiments and the observation, the experiences of people with the judiciary. And you know that this is consistent with the likes of the Corruption Perception Index by the Transparency International. Afrobarometer survey also captured similar sentiments as well. Emmanuel Samani is connecting with me right now with the people's voices on this. Samani, what are the people telling you?
Absolutely, Alfred. Good evening and welcome to the People's Voice here on Ghana Tonight. And I am Emmanuel Samani. Tonight we're hitting the streets to find out from people, according to reports circulating, that the judiciary has dropped by 30% in terms of being impartial. And that report further states that between 2017 and 2023, this has been the decline over the last 6 years. So we're on the streets to find out from people if they think that the courts have been biased over the last 6 years. So let's get some thoughts on this. Let's talk. You don't want your face to show? Okay, sure. That's fine. He doesn't want his face to show, but so just come this way for me. So we're asking, you know, the courts. What do you make of the courts at the moment? Some reports are saying that they've been impartial over the last 6 years. I mean, even quoting some figures that 30% the courts have been impartial. What do you make of it? And what's your overall thoughts on the judiciary and the court system?
Okay. For the courts, they are doing their work. But then we, the public, also have our own opinion about how they are doing their work. In my honest opinion, I think that for the past 6 years, the judiciary, anytime issues go before them, you will see that some of their decisions are politically tainted. So, for instance, you can, let me cite an example. SAR, for instance, is still pending before the judiciary. That is the Supreme Court. Then it lowered also, they lowered it down to High Court. It is still pending. It has no decision has been taken on that. Now, in terms of Parliament, the moment those issues came before the judiciary, quickly they took a decision on it. Then the issue of the LGBTQ also going before the judiciary. They couldn't, up until now, there is no decision on it. Even it went to the president also shoot back the bill even to Parliament. These are things that I think the judiciary need to do better. Another last one has to do with even the court cases, especially the landmark case of the one that Mahama took to the Supreme Court about the elections. You also see in that almost all the judges have to, you see 7-0. So it's very surprising where everybody will agree, all judges will agree on one thing. No, it cannot be possible. At least one or two will dissent, like happened in 2016. You know, during that's 2016, 2017, when the Nanado also took the same thing too. You see that people dissent, and honestly, they are dissent. So these are things that I think the judiciary need to do better, so that in the eyes of Ghanaians or in the eyes of the populace, they will think that, oh, okay, they are doing a good job and professional job for that matter. That's all I would say.
Well, there you have it, an anonymous opinion on this matter. It seems that he clearly believes that the courts have been biased. Let's get some more on this particular subject matter. My boss, so we're finding out what people make of our judicial system. Reports indicate that judicial system has become impartial. Some stating as much as 30%. From where you sit, do you think that the courts are more biased than before?
Oh yeah, it's very true. This time with the court, we don't have anything about the court here. They are very biased. If issue come, the way they do the thing, people see them, they are not really on top of the issue. Like example, so many instances came out. The way they do the matter, if they come today, it's a different crowd. Right. Yeah. Okay. About the 3 seats about the parliament. See, the constitution say that, at 97 say that if you switch from your camp to a different camp, you automatically lose your seat. So today, they let us know that the speaker don't have right to determine about this thing. Yeah. The court system, they're not very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, there you have it, Alfred. These individuals say that indeed the courts are biased, and that's by way of the people's voice. Back to you in the studio, Alfred.
Certainly. You have a say in what we say here on Ghana Tonight, and that's the people's voice there, Emmanuel Samani. But this is how the trend graph looks like with the Ibrahim Index on Governance. Take a look at this. Now, Ghana's judicial independence has dropped significantly. With the 2024, there's more Ibrahim Index on African governance showing a decline in judicial autonomy from 100 to 50 over the past 7 years, and then now we're seeing to 68.3%. Now take a look at this. In the year 2014, judicial impartiality was 95.3%, right? Appreciably high. And then it was consistent. In fact, the highest was in 2017. 97%. Then we saw the decline consistently from 2017 based on the Ibrahim Index on African governance to 75, to 71, to 69, to 68. Then it went up a bit to 69.7%, now 68.3%. And, well, conversation continues as to what can be done. That is, if the judiciary is even minded about this perception and what is being done to address this. But on behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Remember, tomorrow at 12 noon, we're live in the courts to bring you what the Supreme Court will say on the matter of these 4 seats in the eye of the storm between Parliament and the judiciary. I am Alfred Okonse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.